Right, good evening, everyone. So just a few minutes ago, I carried out a little experiment. I went to the bar downstairs, and I ordered a beer, and I took to order a beer, one of these, a Scottish banknote. And I said, will you accept this? And luckily, because I haven't planned this bit, so luckily I can keep it going for a little while longer until the slide starts. Scotland is a country to the north of England. It's divided normally from England by Hadrian's Wall. Oh, there we go, look. I'll start again. So a few minutes ago, I went to the bar downstairs, and I took a Scottish banknote like this, and I asked, will you accept this banknote? And what they did is they said yes, which completely spoils the entire premise of my talk. But we'll move on anyway, because I spend a lot of time in Scotland, and I often have the problem of having Scottish banknotes and worrying whether people will accept them or not. And it always ends up in a debate, which ends up with this: it's legal tender or it's not legal tender. And the question is, what does that actually mean? No one actually knows. Now, I grew up collecting banknotes before I grew up collecting wimpies. Banknotes are fantastic. Look, they're works of art, and you can explore the world through banknotes. It's quite fantastic, really. There's Kyrgyzstan, Ukraine, Lebanon, China, wonderful. In 1995, I was hanging around Westminster, as you do, and I bumped into screaming Lord Such, and he gave me one of those. It's a £1 million banknote, and it's wonderful, obviously. Now, the thing is, right, I can't spend that banknote. This may not surprise you. You can't spend that banknote. Why not? But I could spend a banknote signed by her. That's Victoria Cleland. Now, why could I spend her banknotes? And the reason is this. She's the chief cashier at the Bank of England, and she signs your banknotes. If you look at your banknote now, she's probably signed it. And the thing is, the Bank of England's banknotes, it all lies on these key words. Hang on. I promise to pay the bearer on demand the sum of, and they are the key words. And the thing is, that's the key point about banknotes, because banknotes all started off in the 16th century effectively as receipts. You left your gold at a bank, and the bank said, if I bring this note back to you, you'll pay me that gold back. Now, you have a slight problem here in the sense of you have to try and explain what money means. It's very difficult. What is a pound? I'll tell you what a pound is. A pound is a third of a pint, or about half of a Ginster's Scotch egg bar, if you'd rather do it that way around. It's very hard to explain. The basic point is this, that the Bank of England guarantees your money. You know what a pound is, I know what a pound is, and your pound is therefore safe. That is me with the Governor of the Bank of England. For no good reason, really, to be honest. It's just because it looks quite good, doesn't it, really? And the thing with legal tender is this. Everyone thinks legal tender means that money is money. It actually doesn't. What legal tender means is basically this. If you have a debt and you pay that money off in legal tender, then they can't sue you for the debt. That's it. Legal tender does not mean this note equals money. It's not as simple as that. Legal tender, for example, coins, right? 20 pence in 1p's is legal tender. 21 pence is not. 1p's are only legal tender up to the sum of 20 pence, no more. You want to pay your debts in pennies, you actually can't do it. Someone can actually refuse. Scottish and Northern Irish banknotes, to return to my question of earlier on, are in fact not legal tender, not even in Scotland or Northern Ireland. They're not legal tender. But it doesn't matter, because what ultimately matters is this. Do you want to take money off people? If you're a business, you do not have to accept money. The people behind the bar there do not have to accept your money for the beer. They just choose to. We all work. We don't have to be paid. We can choose not to be paid. Scottish banknotes are legal currency. So if you want to take them, you can take them, and they're money. Now, giants, this is quite interesting. The Bank of England has secret banknotes. They have £1 million banknotes and £100 million banknotes. Most people don't know this. They exist because... Yes, give me a moment here. They exist because every time a Scottish bank issues a banknote, the Bank of England has to have a note in reserve. Instead of having suitcases full of banknotes, the Bank of England has £1 million banknotes and £100 million banknotes. They're legal tender, you just never actually spend them. What happens if it all goes wrong? I'll tell you what happens. If you're in Zimbabwe, for example, you might have a banknote that's worth $25 million, but it has a sell-by date on it. There's actually a sell-by date on Zimbabwean banknotes. I've got them over here. Hang on. Or Germany is the most famous example, German banknotes. Here's one. This is 100 million German marks. Want to know how little 100 million German marks was worth? They didn't bother printing the back of the banknote because it's literally worthless. Now, our banknote's still worth it because all our currency nowadays is all done digitally. Yeah, of course they are. As Ed Miliband would say, hell yes, because look at the row about... Look at the row about Jane Austen on banknotes. It means nothing, but everyone wants to have their people represented on banknotes, as they should be. And also, by the way, all our banknotes from now on in will all be plastic. Victoria Cleland, I met earlier on, all our banknotes from now on in will be plastic, which is quite strange, but they are actually wonderful, and they last much longer than these feeble paper notes, which don't really last at all. On a slight side, by the way, if you don't like banknotes, you could always have your coins instead in gigantic stone circles, as they do on the Pacific island of Yap, because after all, if all your currency is made up of rolling stones, pause, you'll always get your satisfaction. Thank you.